We were the only bidders for a tired, ramshackle terrace next to one of the busiest roads into mid-Wales. This was a proud house that had seen better days. From the dated kitchen to the pokey drab bathroom, this was a house screaming out for love. Well, with Brad and Kelly, it hit the jackpot. It wasn't the house they wanted, but they made the best of what they had, and boy, look at it now. The freshly painted yellow front door gives you a clue that this Cinderella will go to the ball. It's modern, light and airy. I love the statement floor. The living room, inviting and cosy, and keeping that fireplace gives a nod to a more impressive past. The kitchen, second-hand? Surely not. And keeping the period door showcases the hidden gem of a backyard. The second floor is now home to a sumptuous, luxurious Victorian bathroom, while the third floor now houses 2 good-sized bedrooms, thanks to Brad's idea of removing the staircase up into the attic, which now presents itself as a very useful storage area. Team, you've done well. Now, let's find you a buyer. So this was a house that had been looked after, but not been updated. It was also a house full of furniture, which, as it transpires, nobody wanted. Its main drawback was it had no upstairs bathroom and no insulation. So there's a big chunk of work here that nobody can see. The lads decided to insulate the whole house from the inside. And for that, they have been awarded an energy performance rating of B, shooting it right up the energy performance table. Installing an upstairs bathroom is another tick in its saleability. And opening up the kitchen to the garden just makes the whole place feel bigger. Keeping a downstairs loo is always a good thing. Putting it under the stairs, just sensible. The house is unrecognisable. It's light, it's airy, it's modern.
4 months ago, it was a run-down 1-bedroom cottage in need of some major TLC. It had a poor excuse of a kitchen, and the bathroom was barely functional. For a cottage in such a lovely part of the world, it was a real shame. Well, just look at it now. They've managed to turn the tiny house into a 2-bedroom home with a cosy and welcoming feel. In the living room, the damp floors are gone, and now it has a bright, contemporary feel. The cleaned-up old fireplace is the centerpiece. The old kitchen has been reconfigured and turned into a functional space, with even room for a breakfast bar. Every available nook and cranny has been utilised, even the area under the stairs. The old stairs have been opened up. They're now bright and modern, with a little nod to the old Victorian stays. By reducing the size of the old bedroom and bathroom, they've managed to squeeze in a new, sleek and modern shower room, and created a single bedroom, which with the addition of clever design features, gives the room some much needed storage. They've even managed to transform the untidy backyard into a pretty patio area. And the land, once a home for pigeons and chickens, has been cleared. It's now a blank canvas, ready for its new owners. Thanks to all their hard work, this house is ready to go on the market. 6 months ago, this place was an empty, unloved shell, and that's why it ended up at auction. This particular house isn't for everyone, but Joe and Ricky did a good job, especially considering it's their first ever renovation.
This was a dark, damp house with an oddly shaped knock-through running below the stairs into a rather dingy living room. The bathroom ran off the kitchen, which wasn't ideal. But upstairs, there were 3 good-sized bedrooms. A rarity in this area, even if the choice of wallpaper was a little bit gothic. So, what did this lot do? Well, they didn't take a blind bit of notice of me for a start. Instead, they turned it into a 2-bed property with 2 Jack and Jill bedrooms and turned the back bedroom into a very luxurious bathroom. Then downstairs, they reinstated a standalone living room by bricking up the knock-through and opening up the original doorway. By making the entrance into the kitchen bigger, that allowed light to flood into the middle of the house, and as a result, the whole place feels transformed. Keeping a downstairs toilet is a good selling point, and decking the backyard just gives the house that contemporary hippie vibe, which is Bristol all over.
This was a house with a history, and that history had been left behind in the house. From kids' toys to kitchen utensils, this house was full of memories. After a massive clear out, our renovators had to face head-on the problems that the house seemed to reveal at every juncture. But, and this is crucial, they had helped to overcome every obstacle. The result is stunning. The house now has room to breathe. Everywhere is light, airy, and clean. There's a new kitchen, a brand new bathroom, laminate on all the floors, and tiles on the walls, all set off to perfection by some strategically placed lighting. This is a house that has come a very long way. Just over 5 months ago, this was a house full of junk that had seen better days. The previous owner had a go, but had just given up. There was no kitchen, and the place where it should have been was pokey. The back garden was strewn with rubbish, and upstairs, things weren't much better. If we hadn't come along and done a deal with the estate agent, then this was a house that was destined for auction. In Gary and Kim, this house hit the jackpot. Why? Well, Gary's a plumber. So in those precious first weeks, he laid down the plans for things to come. By taking out the dividing wall between the kitchen and the dining room, he transformed the house into something modern families need. A light, airy space where everybody can be together. His novel way of planning out the kitchen not only works, but it halved the price of a top-spec model. And his intel on what kind of bathrooms everyone wants is there for all to see. But without Kim, this place will not have its wow factor. Her attention to detail is apparent in every room, from the burnt wood window seat to the exposed brick fireplace. And the curb factor, both front and back, is her vision and bodes well for what I think will be a quick sale.
A few months ago, this was a tired and dated semi desperately crying out for some TLC. Now it's a bright and airy home, perfect for modern living. Knocking Through has created a kitchen diner that will appeal to families as well as other types of buyers, while retaining that separate reception room means there's a more private area to escape to. Upstairs, those spruced up cast iron fireplaces set off the 3 bedrooms really well. The new bathroom does look clean and fresh, though I do wonder whether putting in a disco light but not a shower will put off some buyers. I'm pleased they've sorted out the brickwork outside, which means not only does the house now have curb appeal, but it's structurally sound. Outside, not bad. Inside, well, it had ceased being a home, and that's because it wasn't. This was a business, an illegal business. This was a cannabis farm. It had been raided, and the effect on the house was evident. This place had been trashed. But despite the mess, this was a house that had potential. Ladywood is a good area, popular with first-time buyers, and that's the market Karen and Zoe hope to attract. And I think it's fair to say they've done an excellent job. The lounge is light and airy, bigger without the porch. The high ceilings are bonus. And the finish, well, that's just spectacular. The dining room with its hidden courtyard is perfect, and the galley kitchen pristine and professional. Upstairs on the first floor, there are 2 bedrooms. Nice touch that, putting a bed over the bulkhead, ideal for a child. And the master bedroom on the 3rd floor is sublime with its views of Edgbaston Reservoir. Now where, within commutable distance of Birmingham, do you get a view like that? Staging the house has just given it the edge over similar properties nearby and gives potential buyers food for thought. This is what the house could look like. Buy me now and make me your own. Well, I think it's true to say that this little house has come a very long way. This was a dark, pokey little terrace which wasn't making the most of its best asset, its view over the Calder Valley. The galley kitchen was a cobbled afterthought. The bathroom had seen better days and the whole place reeked of damp. And because of that, the whole place had to be taken back to brick. Well, what a difference 6 months makes. From the get-go, Nicola had a vision. Open up the view and everything else will follow. And boy, she was right. Light now floods in the open-plan kitchen and picks up every detail of that feature wall. The bathroom, yes, a bath would have been nice, but there wasn't really the space or the money. But whatever happens next, profit or loss, I'm so proud of these two for embracing technology that, let's face it, most of us don't really understand. This is a house which will be heated most days by the sun, and that makes me smile. This was a cottage that was going to rack and ruin. It might have been built 200 years ago, but the walls were ready to give up the fight. This was a building that had had enough. It was damp, it was dark, it was miserable. Well, that was then, and this is now. The downstairs is white, clean, open. The galley kitchen at one end of the building makes the most of the space. Upstairs, there's now a bathroom, and they managed to keep it as a 4-bed, thanks to some clever reconfiguring. They've even reinstated the cottage's original name, Angorvar. And to those who live here, that means a lot. So, where are we? Well, to be fair, this was a textbook house. Ex-council, built in the early 60s. So, of course, it needed new windows and a rewire. But these houses were made to last, so structurally it was sound. And right from the get-go, Chantel realised its potential. A family home in a beautiful part of the world with gardens front and back. So the money they saved on the refurb was spent on a top-of-the-range kitchen and bathroom. And we're about to find out if that decision will pay off. This wasn't a bad buy. Yeah, the walls needed stitching and there was a bit of damp, but a perfectly presentable little 4-bed terrace. The main problem was the layout. The kitchen was pokey and the upstairs bathroom split into 2. So, what these two did was bring down a wall so as to create a larger kitchen and a spacious upstairs bathroom. They've kept it simple, they've kept it solid, whilst giving a cheeky little nod to its Victorian heritage by buying in the cast iron fireplace. And by getting rid of the chimney breast, they've made the whole place bigger. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, it's a textbook renovation. Now, let's see it sell.